Welcome back once again to the Tech Talks Daily podcast. Now today I'm going to be joined by Tiago Cardoso, Group Product Manager at a company called Hyland. And with a comprehensive background in computer science and AI, plus over a decade of experience in developing everything from sophisticated web, mobile and 3D applications, Tiago stands at the cutting edge of technology innovation. And they are just a few of the many reasons why I'm excited to get him on the show today. And we're going to talk about how AI is not only revolutionizing AI industries far and wide from healthcare to insurance and banking, but also how it's influencing computer science programs in universities and even impacting workforce readiness. It really is a cracking conversation, this one. We've got so much to get through, so enough spoilers from me. Reaching listeners in 165 countries every day is testament to the unwavering support of you, my listeners, and our sponsors, without whom this podcast just simply wouldn't be possible. And it also gives me a chance to talk about the fact that legacy DRM failed to securely enable external collaboration, especially on sensitive files, and how every organisation faces this risk-trust contradiction where they can share content with untrusted third parties, yet expected to protect that data. So it's time for something more modern, a DRM solution that solves that dilemma without compromising security or productivity. And you can do all that with a company called Kiteworks that will enable you to say goodbye to deployment headaches, file transfer risk, collaboration barriers and productivity constraints, so you can experience a more modern way to collaborate on sensitive content without sacrificing control or security. Please visit kiteworks.com to get started today. That's kiteworks.com to get started today. Now is the moment you've really been waiting for. It's time to get today's guest on. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to Lisbon, where today's guest is waiting to join me. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Hello, I'm Tiago Cardoso. I'm sunny Lisbon, Portugal. I'm a principal product manager at Hyland and focusing on AI, machine learning and generative AI.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you join me on the podcast. I love that you're in sunny Lisbon. I'm slightly jealous because the sun's disappeared for the day here in the UK, but there's so much I want to talk with you about, especially around the future of AI in enterprise content management, a subject very close to my heart. And can you share your vision of how you see AI, how you see it transforming content management in industries far and wide, from healthcare to insurance and banking? How do you see all this evolving over the next few years?
Right. So usually content management, it's mostly unstructured data. So with the advent of Gen AI, of generative AI, I think this was a big thing in content management, because now those new models, LLMs, they can really leverage the text. They can leverage all the information that it's fully unstructured in documents and get you the right information that you need at the right time. And they'll start to also work for images. They already work for images pretty well. They work with audio, because you can even convert it to text. But video, it's coming for sure. So having models that can leverage big videos and get you all the information that you need. In terms of how it's useful, I think initially it's more about augmenting business users and also doing some automation for content-based processes. The goal is to not make users read endless pages of documents or searching endlessly for assets or for the right knowledge, but just asking and getting back the right answer. But also when you are ingesting content, you had the traditional IDP where you digitize your content, but now you have the opportunity to not only digitize it, but really to extract all the needed context, to extract the things that are relevant for your business, that will advance your processes, and that will just make your business active and productive.
And there is so much hype around AI at the moment. I think sometimes we lose sight of, hey, what problems are we actually solving here? And one area in particular that stands out is AI's impact on healthcare. So from your viewpoint here, and if we look at the healthcare sector, how are you seeing AI currently being used to improve anything from patient care to operational efficiency? And again, where do you see this evolving? What advancements do you foresee in the near future too?
Right. So in the past, this has been more in terms of predictive AI. So getting all the data, analytics, numeric data, measures with the patients in the hospital, how they are doing their values, and getting you some indication of if a patient needs care, if a patient need to return to a new consult in the future. Then you started to have deep learning models, and they started to do some type of, I wouldn't say diagnosis, but at least highlighting some information on the patient result exams and enterprise imaging. And that then went into more Gen AI, where today you can really analyze some information, medical information, to translate it so that the patient can understand it perfectly. They understand what they have, what is the expectation. It's also helpful for the doctor that can summarize really quickly the patient history. It can ask questions about that patient, specific things, not just to get a summary, but how is this patient passed with some specific disease or around metabolical diseases, things like that. So using Gen AI, really, it's helpful to get insights and information on the patient, to be quicker, to be more productive, and really to spend the patient time with the thing that matters.
I love that. And one of the other things I love doing on this podcast is highlighting so many different industries that are impacted by technology, especially areas you don't automatically associate with tech. So if we switch industries for a moment, what specific challenges and opportunities do you see AI presenting for something like insurance and banking industries, particularly regarding data management and customer service? Because there's such a wealth of data in those fields, isn't there?
Yeah, that's right. And one area that we are seeing, it's really the interaction between the banks and the insurance and the patients, make all the processes quicker. So if you have a claim, you want to have the result and the outcome of that claim as soon as possible. And if you can apply AI and Gen AI, you definitely will be able to get a decision for a low risk automatically almost. And we are already seeing this. And even for more complex situations, you'll be able to extract context for that claim from the policies and give that information to all the underwritings and everyone that it's really invalidating those claims. For banking, one of the biggest use cases that we see, it's onboarding. So for mortgage, for lending, anything, even opening an account, there's always that back and forth where you ask a customer for some documentation, then you validate, then you ask for more, then you see and evaluate the criteria, and if that customer is allowed to be validated with a mortgage or so. All this process is now being augmented for the bank business user and even automated in some aspects by just providing information directly to the customer, getting them the right expectation, also validating. So you can use Gen AI to validate documentations to know what are the documents and what they should be according to some required list. And this just makes things very fast and easy for everyone and gives the customer a great experience, which is the ultimate goal.
And another area that initially resisted technological change in the industry is education. There was a fear that it could end up replacing teachers, but of course that couldn't be further from the truth. It actually enhances how teachers can teach students, especially get rid of the one-size-fits-all approach and offer a more personalized approach to each and every student. So how are you seeing AI reshaping higher education, particularly in computer science programs? And what skills should students themselves be focusing on to stay relevant in this evolving field?
I think you're absolutely right. So the one size fits all doesn't work. Yeah. And by having these very large language models and RAG systems where they can search the information for you, you really can adapt a course or information for each student. So each student can ask their own questions in their own time and get the right answers, which is something that might be a challenge for just one teacher in a full class. Specifically in computer science, you should learn the basic concepts, understand the technical aspects behind them. I don't think you need to go too deep. If you want to experiment and really code and put these things to practices, if you are curious, you should. But the important thing is to really understand the concepts and use it. So using it and being a power user of all these AI tools, it's the best thing that you can do, because you not only will be able to be more productive because now you'll have an augmented tool set, but also you'll have an intuition of how they work, what are their capabilities, where are they good at, what are the gaps. And this is what will give you then the intuition to know how to use them in the right use case.
And also from your perspective and everything you're seeing here, how ready is the current workforce for the widespread implementation of AI? I'm seeing a lot of people jumping on board and playing with it. Equally, some people don't want to touch it. So what are you seeing, and what steps can organizations take to prepare their employees for this transition? Because it's so important that everybody's involved here. But what are you seeing?
Yeah, I really think it's still early on, and we see that there's some misuses of some tools, but I see also most companies usually creating some sort of internal program where they try to find and to set up and to decide what AI to use and what not to use, and to generate educational programs inside those companies so that they understand how to leverage all those new AI tools. So I think it's early, but we are seeing a great deal of success in all of those companies, even us internally. So we are using more and more those types of tools and learning how to make them useful. It takes some time, but it's definitely useful, and it's valuable to do that. So what I would say to companies, it's really to organize internally, get one team or more teams looking into this, how to adopt new tools, how to make people understand how to use them, and really go for it, because this will be the best way to gain a better outcome for your business, for sure.
And one topic that we've got to mention is the huge debate at the moment around AI's impact on employment. And this is something that could impact everybody listening. So in your view, what kinds of jobs are most at risk, and what new roles might equally emerge as a result of AI adoption? Because I think it's very easy to focus on some of the jobs that may go. But if we look back 20 years, there were so many jobs that didn't exist just 20 years ago that are here now. So what are you seeing here?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. We are seeing, and even some years ago, people would think that, okay, jobs like that have creativity or higher level thinking, they would be saved. And what we are seeing, it's exactly the reverse, that those jobs are being augmented. But I think it's still an augmentation. We are still just in the phase of augmentation. What's happening is that some of the tasks are going to be removed. It's not a job. It's not a full job. It's usually tasks. And some jobs will have more of these tasks that are being replaced by AI, and others will have just a few. But usually these tasks are those tedious tasks, those boring tasks that really kill the talent of humans. So having to read lots of tedious documents just to get some information, searching, doing just repeated work, that's something that humans are not meant to, right? So I think this will augment them and will allow humans to really explore their talents and where they are good at, where they are motivated, and everything will be much easier to do. So if you are doing some type of job, your job will get easier. You'll be able to feel more productive, more happy doing it. And at some point, we will have more replacement. But I think we still need one or two breakthroughs in terms of AI to get there. So we will have some time to adapt. Even with the AI that we have today, I don't think everything was still applied. There's a lot of product development to be done so that we can leverage what science has got us. And so this will give us a phase to adapt and to really make the right decisions.
And this is an ideal opportunity, I think, to introduce everyone listening to Hyland and Hyland's role in AI advancements, because you guys have been at the forefront of content solutions for as long as I can remember. So can you discuss some of the innovative AI-driven solutions that you're developing and how they help organizations to manage their content more effectively?
In the past, we were more about traditional IDP, right? So digitizing documents, digitizing paper into something that it's within a repository was our first approach, because that's really important to have everything digital. So we had a lot of AI there, classifying, improving scan material and images, and making sure that we can extract all the values and contents from those documents. That was the first approach. Then we went into content enrichment. So making sure that if you have a repository that has documents and that has some metadata, we can leverage all of that using machine learning and deep learning to really create models that understand your content. And by understanding your content, now we can predict and we can know what are the values, those metadata values for new documents and even for legacy documents. So you see a lot of times, one use case is that you had, imagine a bank, you had a process in the past and it was very legacy, and you know that there's a lot of mistakes there. So they have refactored it, and now they have a very, very good digital process, but they want to kind of improve the quality on all the past legacy process values. So they can use machine learning and content enrichment to train on the new process and then apply it on the legacy documentation to get the proper values to really make it not with so many errors. The other thing, it's really finding answers. So we are seeing with our customers that they have lots of repositories, lots of sources where they have content. And sometimes they really want to find a document, but many times they are just after the information, or even, and this is the ultimate goal, they want answers. They have a question that it's important for their business and they just want the answer. And so we are leveraging Gen AI to provide them with that. We just get all the information and get distill the right answer for their question using all the repositories that they have.
And just to bring to life some of what you're talking about now, I'm not sure if you are able to do this, but can you share any success stories or case studies where your Hyland's intelligent content solutions have made a real measurable improved outcome for customers, particularly Fortune 100 companies, which I know you have a lot in your portfolio there. But is there any stories you can share? You don't have to name any names, but I'd be interested in the kind of things that you've done.
Right. I cannot, the ones that I do have examples, I cannot share them because we cannot always share their names. But I can give you some indication. So we are releasing a new Gen AI product in the near future. And next year, we will be releasing a lot more services leveraging generative AI. And right now, we already have a pilot program for generative AI where we are doing research with customers. We are collaborating with them to know where it helps. So I can give you some indication, some insight into what are the use cases for those very big customers. So as an example, we have one customer that in the Fortune 100, they have a call center, right? So they have very big call centers where they need to answer things about their products that they are selling to customers. And usually how it works is that they will have like a facet search where they will, on the call, find the right document to answer some question. And by leveraging what we are building, they will be able to not have to search for the document. They will just ask the question that the user is asking and get a suggested reply that they can confirm. And we can then even put this directly into customers. So their customers, the customers can just leverage this platform to get the answers directly. This is one of them. Others in the government space is a different space. Sometimes you have judges that have conflicts with some cases. So imagine that when you have judges, they usually have people they work with in the past, companies that or organizations that they were a part of, where they cannot really judge the cases. So this is always a tedious work, and humans are prone to error when they are comparing documents. So one thing that no one actually trusts humans, it's to compare documents. Usually AI, they have a trust issue sometimes, but comparing the documents, it's where everyone seems to agree that they prefer AI to do it. And so here, it's really to compare the cases with any disclosures that the judges have gave to see if there's any conflict and to validate which cases could go to which judges. So this is just a very specific use case.
Love that. And we're talking a lot about everything that other businesses are doing, what Hyland are doing, but I'd love to hear more about you, because I think all of us are under pressure to be under a state of almost continuous learning. So I've got to ask, where or how do you self-educate? How do you keep on top of these trends?
Right. So a lot of time, it's just today, it's very easy with social networks. So you get to follow very incredible people. And they share lots of good stuff, and you can read it. In the specific case of AI, it's very useful to look into the papers itself sometimes, because you can really use large language models to summarize, to give you the information that you need in a distilled way, in the translated way. So you really get the good information. But the other thing, it's really using it. It's very important. So if you want to understand how to leverage an LLM in a specific use case, the best way is really to use the LLM or something similar to that use case. Because even the people that are building those LLMs, the Metas and OpenAIs of this world, they don't really know how some of the capabilities have emerged. They don't know if, although there are some benchmarkings, but they don't really know what is specifically and what an LLM can do and cannot do. So by using it, you really gain an intuition, and which is very useful to know when to use what, and what is valuable and what is not reliable.
Well, I've loved chatting with you today, and so much more we could talk about. So I think maybe we'll have to get you back on later in the year to see how things are continuously evolving. But for anyone listening, just wanting to find out more information about you and what you do, and contact your team, or just look for a little bit more information on some of the tools we mentioned there, where would you like to point everyone listening?
Sure. So if you go, we have, I think, a new website, hyland.com. There you can find our new platform, which is Hyland Experience. And specifically in that new platform, there's Hyland Experience Inside. So that's our native AI program. That's what from where we are delivering all these new services and solutions to market. So just look, we should have news, and there's going to be soon Community Live near Washington in Maryland. So there, I think there will be a lot of news regarding AI and Hyland using generative AI and just content services with intelligence.
Incredibly cool. I will add all those links so people can find you nice and easily, and the social channels as well, so people can follow you on there. And we covered so much in a short amount of time today, from the future of AI and enterprise content management across so many different industries, from healthcare and insurance and banking, but also how it's shaping higher education, computer science programs, and also how AI implementation readiness in the workforce and some of those implications for AI jobs too. As I said, I'd love to get you back on later in the year, but just thank you for sharing your insights today.
Thank you for having me. It was really a good time. Thank you.
So as we wrap up today's discussion with Tiago, I find myself reflecting on the profound impact AI is having across a wide variety of sectors, from transforming enterprise content management to reshaping the educational landscape and preparing the workforce for future challenges. The potential for AI in these areas just seems almost limitless. But I've got to say that there's always a caveat. With great powers comes great responsibility. So what are your thoughts on the ethical implications of AI in the business and indeed educational sectors? And how do you see, or how are you seeing AI shaping your industry or area of study? There's only so much I can learn from sitting here and having a conversation with my guest. I turn to you. This is where I live my life vicariously from you. And the reason I record this podcast every day is to try and learn something, not just from my guest, but from each of you listening too. So as always, share your thoughts and join the conversation by emailing me techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just @NeilC.Hughes. I genuinely look forward to hearing from you and hearing more about your thoughts and what you're seeing on this. But I'm afraid we're out of time already. There goes the bell. I will be back bright and early tomorrow morning, but thank you for listening today, and until next time, don't be a stranger.